we are today in the digital world. At the moment your paper gets accepted, it is already up before publication of that particular issue of a journal. So the readers start reading your paper and they start citing you. And so you get citations to your paper immediately in the same year itself, and therefore the site score formula is in current context is right formula as such. So and it's available for free. That's another attraction that you get it over there. Okay. There is another tool which is Google Scholar's tool, and it's called H-index. But then H-index has a limitation that it lists only 20 journals in a given field of knowledge. It doesn't list more than 20 journals. Well, I'm using the term journals. It lists 20 sources, I would say, because H-index also considers largely the annual conferences that take place. And there are some fields, like say for example, in computer science, there is a field called, they call it vision, or something like that. Computer vision. And you will find in the list of 20, the international conferences that take place in that particular field have much better standard than a journal. Okay, so there are some such fields. So that is an advantage of using an H-index as such. Okay, it comes on the H-index. Let me not speak what H-index is. Well, I have defined it here on the next slide. No, let me not get into the explanation. I'm sure you know that. Okay, the visibility of a journal, that's another parameter that UGC has added, and that's the quality parameter. The impact factor and site score that I talked to you about. Okay, and I am showcasing you here a journal that is of predatory in nature, according to me, and it says that it has an impact factor of so and so, so and so. Okay, and if you see something like this, go to the Web of Science, website, okay, JCR, it's called Journal Citation Reports, and then type that particular journal name. And then if you find that have this journal in the list, you can fairly believe that whatever the impact factor that's mentioned on the journal website is legitimate. But if you find 0 results found, that means this is a cooked up impact factor. Okay, do not believe this impact factor at all. It is a predatory journal. All the characteristics show that it is. So any website telling fat impact factor for that particular journal, immediately visit the Web of Science website to find out whether that particular journal is being monitored there or not. Okay. So that is something important quality parameter as such. The journals will keep on telling you, trying to impress that our journal is indexed in. Okay, indexed in so and so, so and so. Now, what is indexed in? What is the meaning of indexed in? The journal articles that get published in every issue of the journal are monitored and added to the database. Then it can be a correct way of saying that the journal is getting indexed. Okay, but the people are misleading. These publishers are misleading you. They say that our journal is indexed in so and so directory. Now, directory what it lists? It lists the title of the journal. It doesn't list the articles that are published in that particular journal. Okay, and this is something they will impress you. I mean, this particular journal, there is a big screen down there. I just had a screenshot, a little bit of that. Now, Google Scholar, it's indexed in Google Scholar. Any content that's available on the internet, Google Scholar will index it. So there's nothing great about it. Road, the directory of open access resources. It's a directory information, so it will list only the title of that particular journal. It has registered, it has an ISSN known access, so they will have it. ISSN number. oh, that is, they have obtained ISSN number by paying fee, so that's nothing great about it. So the journal will always be in that directory. Side factor, this is a bogus agency which gives an impact factor against payment. Okay, so all this RGI factor is also same thing. The index Copernicus, this is a Polish index of, actually it's a directory of journals, but they have started now listing the articles also. Okay, so open access repository. Okay, then the site seal. This is all something that don't get yourself impressed. That's what I wanted to warn you. That yeah, they are directory informations. They are illegitimate websites giving bogus numbers. They are what do you call? Some are legitimate, but they are only including the titles and not the article titles. Okay, so please be sure that you are not impressed by this kind of link. And then if you see this kind of display on the journal website, be sure that it's a quality of a accredited journal. That's how you identify the credit. If the journal has an impact factor, if the journal says they claim that it is indexed in all such bogus things, yeah, it's it. Okay, the comparing citations of two journals. Okay, this is something the total versus self citations. That is what it is. I'm sure if you have published something, you might have come across that the reviewer says that you have not cited this particular paper. Probably the reviewer is that author. Usually, so that is what would happen. And then you would cite that fellow and then finish it off because you want to get your paper clear. Okay, so we are all human beings first. Okay, then authors. So that would happen. The journals would insist you to cite their previously published papers. Okay, in that particular journal. And then you would do that. So that's how the self-citations go up. It's a journal self-citation. Okay. You are publishing your paper in a particular journal and then you are citing many papers from that journal itself. So those are self-citations. If you cite your own papers, those are author self-citations. Okay. If you cite papers of your institutional colleagues, those are institutional self-citations. They all get identified in this big databases. That's easy today. This is Murari, so that's the website, and that tells you these details. This is the address, and then it tells you that how many have the self-citations and how many citations are from outside and so on and so forth. Right? So that's also another parameter that impacts the journal quality as such. Right? Okay. Site score training. This is something very important because as I mentioned you, the Scopus adds a journal and removes it. It's a very bad habit. And I'm recommending you that you use Scopus because it's free. It's available for free and then you get these first two columns, the site score and percentile score, which are the best parameters. So how do you balance this? What do you do is this, that okay, you search for your subject area, say for example finance, and then the journals got listed in there, and then I found my journal of finance, maybe that's of my interest and it fits my topic over there. So I should click on that journal of finance and it will take me to the details of that journal of finance. Okay. Now click on the site score rank and trade. Okay. That will open up this bottom area, especially this graph. Okay, and this graph tells you how that journal is behaving over a period of 4 or 5 years or so. Okay, if the graph of the site score is at least at one level, or if it is growing, yeah, it is safer to publish in that journal. It is not likely to get discontinued from Scopus. But then, if you see a graph over the period of time running down, then be sure that it is likely to get knocked out from the Scopus list as such. Okay, so please be sure about this. And then also, as I mentioned you, that check whether the journal is in the quartile 1 or quartile 2. As far as possible, try publishing in quartile 1, quartile 2 journals. That's because that they are less likely to get removed. Okay, they are settled in their profession, and therefore you are safer in your career. Okay, so that is what I would like to indicate, that you should get into the deeper. This graph will tell you whether the journal is okay or otherwise, right?
Sir, I found that you mentioned about the side score and the impact factor. So I found that always there is a side score is higher than the impact factor. If you check the impact factor and side score for the same journal.
Yes.
So side scores, if it is a 12, then impact factor is around 10 to 11.
Yes. So that's because the formula is same, citation divided by articles. Okay, but then the impact factor is calculated with 2-year window, whereas the side score is calculated with 4-year window. So naturally, in 4 years time, the paper would get cited much higher than otherwise 2-year computations. But then, as I mentioned you, I don't know whether you will hear, if you take a list of your professional journals from side score and impact factor lists, and then rank them, you will notice the journals are just 1 or 2 ranks up and down. Not much, you will not find much. The numbers will differ, but then the rank probably would differ by 1 or 2 maximum. Okay, so that is.
Sir, in some formats we have to ask for, like, it is national or international journal. So what is national journal? Like anyone can publish in that.
I don't know whether there is any journal by the title national journal.
No, it is national published or internationally published. They say.
Yeah, there is some. Some people make some distinction.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is national, like anyone can publish with.
Yeah. How the journals are defined as international is based on their number of articles that they are getting from which geographic part of the world. Okay, if the articles that are getting published there from several different countries, that represents internationalization. If the articles are only from America, no, it is not an international journal.
But
it is
how can we prove like this?
Huh?
How can we prove?
This
To the
is how
committee,
you,
like
this is how you would prove.
yeah, but some documentary proof or something. Nothing.
No, you will have to work out. You will have to work out on that. Yes, there is no relevant tool that I can say that this would tell you. No.
Sir, since you mentioned that, say suppose from United States, only articles from United States is getting published and all the editors are from the United States. So that is not an international publication according to them. But what if my article gets published from their journal? Will it in India be considered as an international publication?
It will, see, first thing is this, that the assessments are done based on which journal you have published by an impact factor rank. That's why I said that don't get yourself impressed by the title International Journal of or American Journal of. No. So if the impact factor of that particular journal is higher, and then if you succeeded in publishing your article there, and that indicates that your article quality is almost equivalent to the articles that are getting published in that particular journal.
So suppose somebody is suppose you are in the interview panel, yes, interviewing for assistant professors and all, or for promotion. So do you already have a list of these impact factor journals? Because I might be from a different discipline and you might not be able to know the journal that I am talking about, yet I can prove it that it is in Q1. Do you have a list like that?
Serious institutions who are looking for the scholarship, they would do that exercise based on your application before you are invited for interview. The institution I worked there, yes, our directors were during my career time extremely strict, and all this donkey work I had done. And I had a bad name for that because I don't have any friends. The people will say, Tapaswi, this fellow will kill me. You know, because he will put me up and down rank. I said, Baba, I don't do anything. It is your productivity, it matters. Director asked me to rank it. Yeah, it's my topic of interest. I would rank. Even today in Goa, there is a prize called Manor Parrikar Prize, which is given annually for the last 5-6 years. And then it's continued for a good work, okay, in the science and technology level. The data comes to me. The raw data comes. Tapaswi, you rank. You rank. So I rank all those hundreds of applications, and so based on the rank and then all these parameters of the ranks, they would call only first 8 to 10 candidates for interview. And among those 8 to 10 candidates, somebody would get selected. Not necessarily the person who has highest number in the list. No, no. In fact, I have seen many a times that the third or fourth person gets selected in the interview.
Because he or she does well in the interview.
Yeah, I asked them why when the number one is so and so, why you did not select him or her. The response that is given, and which is those are the qualitative assessments. Interview committee's qualitative assessment. They find that the person has done some unique work which is uncommon, and that's why the very first prize, this was instituted, this prize, went to a person from Israel. It's a satellite research institution. And I said that why is that person given a prize? I am still not convinced with their reasoning. They said, oh no, he has done a lot of good work for the country. The satellite, that time the satellite had just gone up to the moon, and the whole country was impressed. So he was part of that team and all that. I said, no. He's a part of the team. He's not. He doesn't have his own contribution. But then, I can't challenge their. But then this happens. This would happen. Yes. That's why this is an what you call subjective assessment. I would rank you by numbers. What your output shows. Okay, that's an objective assessment. In half an hour, 10 people will say, whether this candidate is good or bad. How did he explain? How did he work? And then where he worked, which area he worked, and all that. Those parameters come in. That's an objective assessment. In half an hour, how I have an impression about you, I'll make my mind and then. I mean, we are all human beings.
But in all central universities, I guess now the entire 100 marks is on interviews. Because I applied for a few, and they said that your selection will be dependent only on the interview, which is of 100 marks.
Yeah, but hundreds of applications are received for one single post, and they would call only few candidates from that. And those few candidates are something that the kind of analysis that we do it.
Yes.
Yeah. If the institutions are looking for scholarship, and let's believe that okay, that's what is done, right? Okay. So that's all about what UGC parameters have put in, and then how do you select a journal? I have shown you some screenshots and examples how the predatory journals could be identified as. Okay, it is you to make a decision on this. You will have to make a decision. As I mentioned you, yes, Scopus has predatory journals in their list. Now, do you believe? Yeah, I mean, you will have to be very, very cautious on those issues as such.
के लिस्ट में भी ये सब तरह की है स्कोपस में तो जाएगा
आपका डिसीजन फाइनल डिसीजन रहेगा कि भाई आप कहाँ आप यू कन्विंस्ड और अदरवाइज ये तो वही रहेगा या Research focuses for better quality among the list of journals. That is what I thought saying this. I already mentioned you that yes, Q1, Q2 is the best list, and then keep sufficient time to publish. Okay, 6 months. Then also I talk to you. If there are any researchers here from humanities and literature, The list of journals from Group 1 of UGC care list, they are still there at those address one I showed you on the circular, and the UGC care is still alive. But then they are, again, you cannot copy paste from there. You will have to only just scroll and then see. Okay, that's bad thing, that is what is happening. But then they had done serious work and they had identified good Indian journals in Group 1 list. So if you are still feeling that you would like to publish an Indian journal, especially from humanities and literature, regional languages, those lists, download your journals list and then aim to publish over there. Okay. Yeah, if you are choosing open access journals, yes, your priority is this, that your choice should be. My presentation is open to anyone, it is not copyrighted. You can download this and use it the way that you want it. Your priority is something like this, that particular journal should be in the Scopus or Web of Science list. That is something that you please ensure. Okay, that's the first criteria. The second criteria is that let your article go into the core of your subject, specific subject, because the readership is much higher over there than the publishing in some journal which is Science and Technology, Journal of Science and Technology. Who is going to refer to Science and Technology? That is something which is, and then, I'm an old man, my pocket is not that fat, and I don't like to publish in a journal which charges me article processing charge. I was working in Goa University on contract after my retirement, and my colleague there, he said, "Oh, Tapaswi, you will publish in PLOS." There were some negative results. I said, "So much of money? I have my money in my project." If you have money in your project, I have no problem. But then I won't pay a single pie from my pocket. And then we got it published, that article. So, but then yes, if you can afford. Otherwise, I would not. Publishing those commercial publishers' journals, they won't charge you anything. They are excellent journals, high impact factor. Okay. It's not an open access platform. Okay, you have other opportunities to put it in open access, like you put it in on your profile, you put it, you send the emails with a PDF file to your colleagues saying that you published it. You publicize, you write on your Facebook profile that you have published it. There are so many opportunities for you to do that. Okay, so please do that. That's what I said. Finally, the journals and grant paywalls are fine. Now, here is something I had sent. The revised presentation has not reached here. Okay, what I wanted to impress is this, that you first go to the Scopus list, find the journals, okay, select couple of journals to compare which journal you should choose as such, and then go to the DOAJ website, search for those journals that you have selected from Scopus, okay, and check whether they are going to charge you APC or not. Okay, if they are not going to charge you APC and if they are in the same what you call level, why should you pay? And I would say that why should you pay? In case you want to pay, you pay. I have no problem, but I would not pay. Okay. Now this is a wrong slide that I have put in. There are both the journals have no charges, no APC. Okay. I wanted to impress on you is that one journal charges and the other journal doesn't charge. The number 3, 4 really doesn't make a difference because they are in the same quartile. They are in the same quartile. Yes, sir.
So there is written CC by and there is no other notations there in the popular journal. So that means that you can do anything, whatever you want from those journals, like CC by, common creative license.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So for the journals you are listing the financial innovation and the green finance.
Yes.
So there it is saying that it is no charges, and down there is written that CC by.
Creative Commons by.
Creative Commons by. So, so it is open. It is not having any other thing, so that you can copy it. And
yes. In this particular case, as far as the copyright is concerned, this journal insists you that you will publish without any conditions. This CC BY is without any conditions. Whereas this gives you option to retain your rights, that you don't want to allow others to use your paper for modifications, for sale, for making money or something like that.
So this information you can also find on DOAJ.
All that is there. All that will be there. Okay. So this is how you can compare. There are something around over 21,000 journals on there. But then there are journals there, as somebody was telling me in the break time, that lot many DOAJ journals are not in the Scopus and Web of Science list. Yes, you are perfectly right. You are perfectly right. And therefore, you must first go to the legitimate list of journals like Scopus and Web of Science, identify journal, and then go to DOAJ. So that, yes, what it means is this, that you are selecting a legitimate journal, and then you are going to make a decision based on the conditions that the journals have, where should you go or otherwise. Okay, so that is why you should go to the DOAJ website. Okay, journals with APC triggered birth of predatory and clone journals. That's what I already mentioned you. I will not go again on this. With the closure of UGC list, it is likely that number of predatory journals will shoot up. That's what I. How how the responsibility went to Pune University to do this project? No, in 2017, UGC list of journals published as a standard list. And what UGC did, they only copied the list of Scopus and Web of Science journals, and they said, hey, you all should publish only in those journals. Now, the Scopus and Web of Science doesn't have journals for Indian regional literature. They don't have journals for our humanities disciplines, Indian philosophy, Indian history. They don't have the journals. So all the faculty members from those disciplines started shouting, where do we publish? Then UGC woke up. They said, okay, if that is the case, you start suggesting us which journal you would like. We'll add that journal. And the publishers took an opportunity. They said, you are an author of our journal, please recommend our journal. And that's how 4,000 predatory journals gone into this UGC list of 2017. No scrutiny. They had given the characteristics, but no scrutiny. The way that 4,000 journals have gone in there means, I'm pretty sure no scrutiny was done.
But that Pune University guys are doing that.
No. This is before that. This is UGC list. In 2017, UGC list came up. So, couple of authors from Pune University wrote a paper in Current Science, and they identified they picked up some 1,500 journals from UGC list, and they identified 1,000 and odd journals are predatory journals. And there was showdown for the UGC. Then they said, okay, you criticized us, now you monitor. So that's how the project went to Pune University.
This also happens in every university, every college staff room.
Yeah.
Every college meeting.
No, even in the classroom, like the most badmash bachcha is made the monitor.
So, but then the Pune University did a good job. Pune University, they removed all predatory journals. They tried to be as clean, and clone journals they can't, but the predatory journals they removed it. Okay, and then they were rejecting lot many recommendations, and then there was and this is the story behind the wall. Okay, I don't know how true, but the way that the project ended, I see that must be the legitimate reason. So, one probably impressive publisher wrote to the UGC that our journal is not being considered, and the UGC care became very strong that we have these parameters, the committee has recommended not to include these journals. So UGC said that close this project. It has reached to that level. And then UGC says, now it is up to your responsibility. Now you decide which journal is good or bad for you. Well, that is how it is. So, what is the definition of a predatory journal? Predatory journals and publishers are entities that prioritize self-interest at the expense of scholarship, characterized by false contextual information, deviation from best editorial and publication practices, lack of transparency, and aggressive solicitation. Okay, all these, this is the definition from this particular paper, which I like very much. I always pick up those points and then just explain. I have many of these points. I shown you the slides. Okay, that how the misleading information, false impact factor, indexed in, and all that. Okay, deviation from best editorial and publication practices. I showed you the publication frequency, the editorial board membership, and all that. Lack of transparency. They don't try to money to be paid as a PC. Okay, depending on the pocket, you can they will bargain with you. Okay, if you cannot pay $100, okay, pay $75. And then you will say, oh, I saved $25. So you will share out $25, 75. So don't. That's lack of transparency. The aggressive indiscriminate solution. I showed you that one email that they will publish even as back issue also. So that's something funny. Okay, so this is what it is. Goa University had this formula which says that if the journal has publisher details available, contact us. Then if the chief editor details are available, and if the fabricated impact factor is there, and then article publication charges, and whether it is indexed in Scopus and Web of Science, whether it's published regularly, and it has the COPE membership. COPE is the Committee on Publication Ethics. That's an international committee, and well, that's so. This so 6 marks publish in that. Okay, but then I would say if you have a doubt in any of this, on any of these parameters, avoid. It is going to, today you might find it attractive, but tomorrow it's going to affect your career. Okay, and some nasty person is there on your interview committee on the other side of the table, you are gone. So please be careful that you don't give any. There are several thousand other journals that are there in your field. Why not you publish in those journals? Why you want to go to a predatory journal? Please avoid. The journal should not pass any of these parameters. Okay, so if that's the case, just drop that. Okay, now I will not speak much of it. I have shown you lot many screenshots on each of those characters. What is this is more dangerous. I mean, this is in effect of, I would say, UGC care birth. So all predatory journals lost their business. They had to wind up their journals, close their journals, and all that. These great minds, I don't know, how do they identify a journal that is already in the list and they can clone it? Okay, the definition of clone journal is something like this. The journal hijacking or cloning refers to brandjacking of a legitimate academic journal by a malicious third party. So these journals set up a fraud website for the purpose of offering scholars opportunity to rapidly publish their research. So finally, it's to make money and nothing else. Okay, but then they are more dangerous because the decision making is much difficult. How the clone journals are born? The strategy is something like this. If the journal is published as print only, okay, they will open a website by the same name, same ISSN number, and they'll say it's the same journal. And then you will get attracted because it's there already in the list. Okay, the list, in the list, but not a research journal. This is another funny thing. I'm going to show you on each of these slides. It's bilingual or non-English. Okay, then they will say, okay, this is the original title and the English translation is something like this, and that's our journal. It's the same journal. Okay, it's not the same journal. Okay, the hijacked content, I showed you that petroleum technology and all that. Okay, so and parallel to real journal, which is extremely difficult to identify. Okay, I'm going to show you each of these examples on my slides. Journal of Positive School Psychology in 2024, this journal made an havoc. This was there in Scopus list, okay, I don't know when this particular publishers discontinued the publication. But then the new website was opened and it says the Journal of Positive School Psychology published new now by ASR Research India. Okay, and the publisher there is someone else. But then they made a lot of money, hundreds of articles they published. Okay, and there was an article written on that. There was a tweet written over there, and all that was done. This Scopus, it's in the graph of side score. I mentioned you that you check the graph whether the journal is going well or not. Okay, it showed the side score just by 1 year. How, if the formula of side score is of 4 years, then how can the side score can come in 1 year? It's just impossible, just incorrect. Okay, but then you will have to make that decision. You will have to make that decision. Okay, so in case if you find something wrong like this, please don't get yourself attracted to such journal. Okay, now that journal has been removed by Scopus. The Scopus doesn't remove the discontinued journals. They are there in the list, but say the NA in the side score, they will say not applicable. Okay, it is that what it means is the journal is been discontinued. Oh, these journals have given me a lot of trouble. One of the authors consulted me asking which of these website is legitimate. Okay, the journal title is Seabold Report. Okay, and by way of looks of both these websites, I found them wonderful, nicely presentations, and each of those websites they are claiming that the other one is closed. We are here. And hundreds of articles each of these websites were publishing. And so my first parameter is contact us with the address. So I checked addresses and I could reach up to the street level. Both the journals are published from United States. Okay, I can't enter into the building there on the Google Maps. So up to that, how do I identify which one is legitimate? I can't make it at all. Okay, I was searching, and finally I again went to the Scopus. And it clicked. Scopus lists not only research journals, but many other type of documents like conference proceedings, like the trade journals and so on and so forth. This is a trade journal. Seabold Report is a trade journal. You know what is a trade journal? Trade journal is a journal which is published by a company, a private company, to promote their products. Okay, somebody is making a microscope and they want to publicize their microscope, give a publicity to their microscope. So what they publish a bulletin or journal, whatever it is, the report, kind of thing. And they ask the buyers of microscope to write an article on their microscopes so that other researchers get impressed by that. So that's called a trade journal. The articles then in that also useful knowledge, informative, and then you can make a decision what product you should go for, etc. So, but it's not a research journal, and both these journals were publishing research articles. So I finally wrote to that person saying that no, both these journals are not the research journals.
Both are clones.
It's a trade journal. However, I am unable to identify the original trade journal. Okay, as yet. One is published by Nate, the other is published by Odd. Okay, over a period of time, I found another journal called thirdclonejournal.com. Okay, so 3 journals were published by this name, and all of them were making money. Okay, finally I found, and how I finally identified this is one of this, and second, there is another facility called IP lookup. You know what is IP lookup? IP address?
So you can look up who owns the domain name. You can look up who owns that domain name. You can search who owns the particular domain name.
Yes, that is IP lookup. So both these websites, I said I had an IP lookup. And interestingly, one website was hosted in Chennai and the other one in Kolkata. Okay, so I said that United States journals, why should they come to India to publish, have their, so that was another reason that I communicated to that particular person who inquired with me. So that is what it is. Well, I think I knocked off. The legitimate journal, this Seaboard report, the legitimate journal is the trade journal is published by a real estate company. Okay, they are trying to promote what kind of projects are coming in, and then that was their idea. Finally, I could find the original journal as such. Whatever the case now, the Seaboard report. And these journals, they get born, and they, by the time they people understand around, they close the website, okay, and they run away. So you lost. You will totally get lost because you have published there, and your articles are non-existent then. Subsequently, this is something which is difficult, most difficult. There is a journal being published on a website which is a real journal, and by the same name, by the same ISSN number, another website comes up. Now, which of these you would notice they identify as a real? It is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. But then what I noticed is that this website says that it's Scopus indexed, whereas the real journal is not indexed in Scopus at all. So I said that this is definitely a Google journal. Okay. So, and then another parameter to assess this false journals is the general email addresses, Gmail. Well, if they have their own website, they should have their own email address as well. Why should they go into the public platform for this discussion? Okay, so these are some of such parameters that you can make decisions. I have already mentioned you about this PLOS one. Okay, those are called mega journals. They have a broad scope. The acceptance is based on the technical soundness rather than confusion. So even negative results you can publish there, but they charge very heavily. What I would like to expose you most, and that's something very interesting, is the data journals. You worked on your research. Okay, you publish articles from all the data that you have collected. Now, what do you do with the data that you have collected? It's sitting on your laptop, it's sitting on your desktop. What is it? You have exhausted with your ideas. There are some data journals, okay, they would publish your raw data. So you will have one more article in your name. Okay, why should you not? Once you finish all your ideas with the data that you have collected, just publish that data. They don't look for the conclusions. They don't want any conclusion. They just want raw data. Okay, so you must take advantage of that. Here I am showcasing you some social sciences and humanities data journals, and then this is on this slide some sciences journals. Okay, so you can. It's wonderful. It's very interesting. You can add one more article to your credit. What it benefits by publishing new data as such? For you individually, it's a credit and citations, definitely. Boost your number of publications and collaboration. This is something very, very important. Today, we are in the world of collaboration.
So, when I am using my raw data to be published in this JOHD, like data journals, won't there be a problem of plagiarism, because in one of the articles, I have used the same data. And when I'm like publishing the raw data, won't there be a conflict?
And that's what I'm talking on this particular point, collaboration. Somebody, I look at your data and I feel, hey, this is what I was working on. Why not we collaborate together? I will give you an authorship, I will have you collect data from your hometown, I will collect data from my particular city, and then let us publish together and compare and write one more article.
So also others can use your data to run new analysis, and they will have to cite your data set. If they do further analysis,
They will cite.
have to cite your data.
They will cite. You get citations for that. Okay, so that goes here. You get credits for that. So that's a great advantage. Okay, for a research community, I feel that yes, the reuse and reinterpretation of the data is something we have exhausted with our ideas. But looking at data, someone else will have some other idea, and he or she would like to publish in that. And if that's the case, maybe probably that the paper is published in collaborative way. Okay, you giving you authorship, giving you citation, etc. Avoid duplication. Yes, if you have collected data, same data, if I am going to collect on it, yeah, why should I waste my time? I will use your data and then publish a paper on that. Okay, that is benefit. New insights by other reviews, I already mentioned, by the interpretation. Encourage replication. If I have a doubt whether your results are correct, I can still use your data and run on it with my view. And then I say, I should arrive at the same result that you have arrived at. Otherwise, I will write another paper saying that no, this is not correct because this is the way. And collecting small data on a given topic, it makes a big lake. Okay, and that's something very important. As I mentioned, I worked in National Institute of Oceanography, and people researchers sell on the ships. They collect data from the ocean, and all that data gets saved in one place, and all such small data sets makes it a big data ocean. And then finally the results, how the monsoons are predicted. It's based on such data. I mean, you can't look at the sky and say, okay, there's going to be rain or not. No, it's not like that. Okay, so these are some of the advantages to individual as a research community as well. Okay, article processing time I have already mentioned. Look at that how much time each journal would take to publish, okay, and then make a decision whether you would like to publish by impact factor or otherwise. This is the last slide. I would like to say that never submit your work to one journal alone for your career. Okay, that's something. What happens is this, that if a particular journal accepts our article, we have a bonding with that journal. We feel that, yes, they know what I am writing and what not. So, and they would then, you will keep sending your article there, and then the journal will keep publishing. My colleague published 23 articles in one journal, okay, and finally the journal disappeared from the Scopus list. First thing is this, that how can a person publish 23 articles in 3 years' time? I don't know. I can only publish maximum one article a year or something like that. But then if probably, so this is, and it's some, your research work is your money. Do you invest your money in one place only? Bank fixed deposit, you go to the mutual funds, you go to the share market, you spread your money, isn't it? If you are not spreading, please spread it. And this is your money. This is your, it lasts your career. Okay, so please be sure that you spread your research outputs in different journals. You will have different readers. You will have exposure internationally and a big exposure in your field of knowledge as well. So please be sure that you don't publish in one journal itself. So that's what it is. Thank you so much. I will not ask you any questions because we have answered a lot of questions. How do we go to the next? Any idea? Next.
You need to go to the home first. Home. Yes. And there from the. Yes, that plagiarism.
I have 45 minutes at my hand. 40 minutes. Let me quickly run through at this. Okay.